watch him play. I watch him play. He doesn't seem like it bothers him that he's playing like.
I think they're still working through some things.
It's all of us. It's not just me. It's not just another player. We all got to be on the same page.
That guy right there that looked totally inept is going to get your whole regime fired.
The company going to be different? Absolutely.
You don't ever want to overreact, but you really don't want to underreact either.
The whole problem is you can't fool the players.
I think overall our urgency as a team and our effort needs to be better.
I didn't feel like there was a lack of effort on offense.
If we're not playing well, they have the right to boo. If we're kicking ass, they got the right to cheer.
I'm in the same boat as you, boss man.
Who knows? Maybe I made it up. I don't know. It sounded good.
We got to be better, and that's all on us.
Now, from 19 News, this is Serpentini Tailgate 19.
Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida, the scene of the game today. This week it's Trevor Bank, goofy marketing thing with the name, sponsorship, and the quarterback. But that's the building. Browns and Jaguars today and a 1 o'clock kickoff. You'll see it right here on CBS 19. I'm Mark Schwab, Reggie Langhorne, Josh Cribbs with you. Tailgate, week 2. The question everyone wants to know was the talk of the week. It was the talk of the open there. Is this the week Deshaun Watson is back to being good at football?
I'm not for sure. I mean, we're looking at his 13th, 14th game since he's been in Cleveland. In 4 years, that's all he's had a chance to play. I don't know if the rust is too much for him. I don't know if he's too much in his own head. We're all waiting to see. But it's got to happen sooner or later. And not just the money, but for the makeup of this football team, for the investments you have with all the other players and their contracts coming true. You have a window. The window's now.
Yeah, I saw, it's a tale of two cities. When you look at the film, it's never as good as you think, and it's never as bad as you think. You saw some good things, and you saw a lot of bad things, but it wasn't a lot of bad things from one guy. It wasn't just Deshaun out there overthrowing receivers or not seeing a guy open. He's with a backup offensive line, and with left tackle out, guard out. You have two starters, main starters out. When pressure was brought early, that does something to a quarterback's psyche. So he did escape a few times prematurely when the pocket was safe, but the tone was already set that they were going to bring pressure. So he imagined that a lot, that sometimes he escaped the pocket when it wasn't nobody, no pressure. And that was because of lack of protection, lack of trust within that backup offensive line. So I feel when you look at the tape again, I think it was equal opportunity problems across the board, not just quarterback, but offensive line, play calling, no run game. All these things contributed to the quarterback play, which is all, it seems all to just be on him.
And this is a big thing for me. When you make the playoffs, and they've been in the playoffs 2 years in the last 3 years, you should get off to a better start. Unfortunately, no one plays in the preseason. So the 11 guys that took the field on opening day had not played together. In practice, yeah, but I can assure you, practice has nothing to do with the actual opening day tempo. So I expect to see something better. I hope. We're all waiting. And as a fan base, it needs to start happening now. You don't want to go 0-2. You got a short run with the Giants and the Raiders and the Commanders coming up. But who cares about that right now? It's this week, this Sunday. Let's at least get ourselves in a winning position, create some opportunities that it's not 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, get rid of all those illegal motion penalties. I mean, we've got to be just a better football team to be able to be successful.
And not just that, and I don't mean to keep going back to week 1 because it's only just week 1, but when you look at it, you just said it yourself, those misalignment penalties, the penalties, that kept us, we had 1 first down. We just talked about it in the half. 1 first down. We also had drop passes.
Yes, sir.
So when your quarterback was struggling, he did get it right a few times, more than a few times, and there were penalties. And then the next time he got it right, there were a run game, and then it was a penalty. And then there was a drop pass, a few drop passes that could have extended the drives, that could have ended in points. We never know. So when we look at our quarterback, make sure that it's not just hate for him and us piling on that, because he has a lot of pressure to succeed. And again, it's just week 1. Go ahead.
And like Josh says, yes, it's just week 1. Now today, We need not see so many of those things. We need not see drop balls. We need to see a running game. We need to see that there is some change from week 1 to week 2, because week 3 could scare the daylights out of most of us if it's the same thing.
And you just said my point right there, and I think everybody would agree with everything you just said. And not one of those things was quarterback play.
Correct.
There was play calling. There was getting the penalties and everything fixed. And if that happens, it puts your quarterback in a better situation. But what did we get the injury report yet? We don't even know who's starting on the offensive line.
About 25 minutes, we're going to get the injury report. We only got less than a minute left, but we had the graphic up on the screen. Joe Flacco, 4 300-yard passing games. Deshaun Watson, 0. Flacco, also backup tackles. No Nick Chubb. Things in shambles. The guy on the right made plays. The guy on the left's been here now forever and just not doing it.
I think we
that's the excuse is gone right there.
Yeah. I don't think it's an excuse at all. I think he just has to play better in week 2. I think he just has to play better. The team as a whole. Week 2 is here. Week 1, we always overreact as a fan base and as analytics. You know, we overreact because of the stats and what took place.
Yep.
But it's week 2. Now we can play some more football.
All right, one in the books. Plenty more shows to go. Plenty more games to go. But yes, the one we're dealing with right now, Jacksonville and Deshaun Watson, gotta look better today, or Browns fans are going to run him right off that pier down there in Jacksonville. Stick around. Tailgate off and running on 19.
You're watching Serpentini Tailgate 19.
Dave's obviously a special player who does a lot, but I do think that we got a room that, Jordan can step in and do a lot of great things for us as well. When things happen, guys have to be ready to step up, and it's the next guy up ready to roll. And there's no excuses at the end of the day.
Now, it's Bench Strength, brought to you by Wayside Furniture.
Well, they are going to try to lean into that Wayside bench strength today with this guy, Jordan Akins, who will be the tight end with David Njoku out. Akins has played with Deshaun Watson. They were both Houston Texans together. How do you guys feel about this? Njoku's such a big part of the offense.
Yeah, when you see the drop down, it's nothing against Agans. I was in Houston Texans coaching for a short period of time with him and Deshaun. They have chemistry. He is kind of that sleeper tight end who defenses won't put a green dot on or a star next to say watch out for him, he's going to kill us. Therefore, he's available to be a sleeper guy. So there is a drop off between him and David Njoku because you can't, put him in the offensive game plan, like you would Njoku or Amari Cooper or, you know what I'm saying? These guys who you can lean on heavily. He's a guy that's a utility. He's going to be using the blocking more so. But I would love to see some passes thrown his way, especially when the coverage is in his favor. But you won't see tight end screens like it would be for David Njoku. He's not the most athletic guy as it relates to David Njoku. So there will be a difference of play.
Well, I like him because he wears number 88.
That's your
That's the main thing.
Number one right there.
And if a guy's been in the league 7 years, he can obviously play. And you just never know where it comes from. All the stars in the NFL, college, high school, everybody got a chance, and when they got a chance, they took advantage of it. Yes, he might not be as talented, but that doesn't mean he can't get open and make plays for us or be good in the run game. So let's just hope he does well. That's the best we got.
I seem to remember people thinking he was pretty athletic. Do you remember that? Is he sneaky athletic?
Yeah, he was a draft, I think, I want to say a high draft pick for, he's supposed to be.
Yeah, it just hasn't.
But you won't build your offensive game plan around him like you can in Njoku. You don't always see a matchup difference because of the lack of athletic ability that him and Njoku differ on.
88 proud of you today. Make it happen, brother.
All he has to do is catch the ball when it's thrown to him.
That's all you got to do. They just quarterback's got to get it to him. Hey, how about Vrabel? Vrabel, a defensive guy, and he was working with tight ends in camp. Why would a defensive-minded coach be working with an offensive position group?
Because that defensive guy has seen a lot of tight ends from a lot of variations. And he can tell you where he's had trouble being able to cover them and also where he's had success. So if those young guys are listening to a guy that has been able to defend them, play as long as he has, also with a nice coach in the National Football League, there's a lot of advice. And a lot of folks don't believe that receivers can also be taught from defensive backs and what they learn. When they start putting all that together, that's all knowledge. You can't go wrong with more knowledge.
Yeah, you see the footage. Vrabel, he played that spot.
Yes, sir.
In the highest of football. So who better to teach these guys? You see him locking arms with him. He knows what can be trouble. Just like Reggie said, he's been there. He's done it with the best of them. So, they are learning from, not just a coach, but a player on the field.
Check this out. You'd think without David Njoku, the Browns' offense over the years has been worse. Well, according to BetOhio.com, they score 4 points a game, 3.9, 4 points more per game without him. 9-9 record. I don't know. I was surprised by this.
I can't take this stat seriously.
Somewhere there's a guy that can put any stat together to make it look good or bad.
And they have these guys with the Browns, though, analytics. I just can't take that stat out. You look at the team, right, the roster, we're better with him. And, I think that's agreed.
He's a Pro Bowl tight end.
And it's agreed. It's like you got to throw that stat.
There are two universal truths. The numbers don't lie. And you can make numbers say whatever you want. Yes, Browns and Jags today at 1 on 19. We're back on the tailgate after this.
You're watching Serpentini Tailgate 19.
he just doesn't seem like he gives a shit. Once you lose the locker room, that's it. There's no going back. It feels like we're there with Cleveland. When your quarterback's bad and also doesn't seem like he really cares, I don't know how that's sustainable.
It might be a while before these guys make them pay again. Here's the injury report.
Well, Bill Simmons roasting Deshaun Watson. Here's the injury report, courtesy of Misney. Questionable is Conklin. We'll get the inactives here in about 15. We'll get a better idea about him. Wills, Njoku, Thornhill, some of these guys on IR, they're clearly out. Fields, Harden, Hurst, and Diabate. Johnson, Lacey, Savage on the list for Jacksonville. It's the left tackle question is going to be the big one for us. Is it Conklin? Is it not Conklin? We'll see. I know they need their dudes, but
yeah, this is
the other guys.
We worried so much about this last year, and Mr. Coach Callahan seemed to put somebody in there every week that got the job done. And like again, not everybody has played together in all the preseason, so let's just hope that they get somebody out there that can play and hold down that defensive front for Jacksonville. We just never know what we're going to get. I mean, and it's kind of frustrating. It's got to be frustrating for fans also. I mean, it's the same problems we had last year. We can't keep tackles on the field. Why is that?
Yeah, and I would want to have hope in, our coaching staff and offensive line coach that he put somebody there and we don't have to talk about it at the end of the game. I'm more worried about, the Fields and Diabate, being out on offense and special teams guys. These are core guys that are on the field that make tackles, that make plays for our defense to make them as strong as they are, the depth. And these are guys who are out. I'm not really too concerned. I feel like that week one blunder was just that, a week one blunder. And everybody loves to hate on Deshaun. I don't see him not caring. I see him on the field focused and trying to figure out what we can do to. I know he knows the pressure. Mm-hmm. Right. I don't believe that he's like, I got paid and now I'm good. That's not him at all. That is not him at all.
And I agree with Josh, but if I just say that when I see interviews and when I see the way he conducts or carries himself, it's almost like he wants to be the guy at a party over in the corner. He doesn't seem like a starting quarterback who's driven, who knows what he wants to do, he's in command. Yeah. He's kind of just hoping to be one of the guys that play on Sunday, stay in the background, and nobody gets to see me. Unfortunately, he plays quarterback in the National Football League on a team that was in the playoffs who expects him to do great things. So he's going to, at some point, have to take a real leadership role. Right. It's not always what you say, but what you do.
We got to
see that, and they're right. We're going to have a talk about that, too.
And he's been through a lot. And I think it's more the humility and humble role that he's taking as opposed to because of everything surrounding him. He has to play on the field first before he can be seen as this complete leader in our city and on the team.
Let's go around the AFC here. We got to take a look what's coming up. We got they wanted Watson to be a Mahomes-Burrow type. You got those two today, 4:25 here on 19. That's the headline game in the AFC. What else do you guys see, or is that the one you just that's it for you?
Yeah, that's it for us. You want to look at that Baltimore and, Vegas and Pitt. You look at everybody in your division. But when you see who they play, you see like these should be winnable type games for them. But I don't know when you look at Pitt and Denver. Pittsburgh has some proving to do themselves, even though they won with Fields.
They come with a solid defense, and I agree. I don't completely believe in what they're doing offensively, but the fact they play solid defense for Tomlin, and the fact that Bo Nix is going to be the quarterback for Denver, a little confused, rookie. He knows some things, but hey, Pittsburgh plays solid defense, so we'll see how that goes. But if Pittsburgh could be the only one in our group, could be 2-0.
But it seems like Cincinnati has a real shot to being 0-2.
Yes, sir.
So that right there, that begs the question that if you look at our league, the way it's shaping up, it's looking like it's going to be 3. It's going to be teams that play late good and end up seeing 2 to 3 teams from our division.
This is what we hope. This is what we hope. We're only in week 2, remember?
You're right.
We got to go to break. The tailgate continues. We are in week 2. Jacksonville on deck. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff in Florida. Stick around.
This has been Around the AFC, brought to you by your local Toyota dealer.
this is interesting because the Browns, with the most cap room in the league, have just pushed out more cap room to create more cap room.
It's the Pigskin Poll, brought to you by Hyundai.
All right, so we do this every week. During our newscast, we put up a Browns poll question. We asked the folks to go online and vote. They did. We'll show you the results in a minute. What was the Browns' biggest problem against Dallas? All were problems. Which was the biggest? Reg, I'll start with you.
Obviously, if you let the poll come from the fans, they're going to say quarterback without a doubt. I don't even question that. That's
but what do you think?
That's just, for me, I think it's a collaboration of a lot of things. I think the fact that no one played in the preseason, which you go back to coaching, if you want to keep everybody healthy, but you got to win football games in the regular season. So everyone needs to be ready. But Deshaun did not play well last week. He didn't look good. He's a little slower than normal because he couldn't get away from some of those linemen. But I'm hoping it gets better. I mean, but if I were to flat out say, I'm going to say the quarterback.
I disagree. Not that Deshaun didn't play good. He didn't play well at all. However, if a quarterback doesn't play well, he could just say, "Hut, hand it off." We couldn't do that. You know why?
Not down
because
by
we
20.
had problems. Early, we couldn't do it either.
True.
We had problems with our offensive line. We couldn't run. We couldn't pass. And when we did pass, he was running for his life. And we can't pretend like we didn't see those guys coming. We couldn't pretend like the blitzes were picked up. They weren't. We couldn't pretend like Deshaun didn't escape a lot of pressure and had some looking downfield still. He did mess up. But we couldn't run or pass. And that's a result of the offensive line not being healthy and not being to what it used to be. Because when your quarterback is in shambles, we still have a running game. We still have running backs. But we couldn't do that either because our offensive line did not meet the need, did not meet the moment.
When you're in that much trouble and you can't run the football, then as a coaching staff, you have to find a way to get the ball out of your quarterback's hand and into your skilled people, whether it be sweep screens or some kind of.
No, you changing your answer.
No. I just think they can help bail him out by
Yes.
that. I still say the quarterback didn't play well enough last week, but I agree with Josh also. But if you put it together, I mean, they had one first down in the first half. I mean, who played good? Nobody.
Right.
Nothing.
And that's, again, that's why I feel like it's kind of like if you don't like the quarterback, you're going to say your quarterback.
Well, let's take a look at those results, shall we? The landslide winner in this, as Reggie predicted, quarterback. The play, you know what sticks out to me? The one play that sticks out to me was on one of the, I think it was the second pick on a tip ball. Micah Parsons is standing right in front of him. And Watson loads up like, okay, here you go. And he throws it, and of course he jumps up, tips the ball, nearly picks it. Somebody else runs down with it. What are you doing, man? That's Micah Parsons. He's standing right in front of you. Find a throwing window, not that one.
No, that wasn't, when you look at it, that's not one of the plays that.
That's the one I remember.
That's not one of them that's going to make someone change their answer to the quarterback. Yeah, you're right. Quarterback plays horrible.
Right.
It was the group of them. It was everything together. Not one of them looked bad to the point where you say, oh, it's all on him. Whether it's him scrambling around, prolonging the play, whether it's him missing wide open guys or not having good vision, all of that can be proven that they just needed a preseason. We needed to play these guys. They needed to see more live reps that your quarterback can get hit right now under that type of pressure than practicing against the other team.
But if you take the idea of all of us expecting to get the Houston Deshaun Watson,
and that's the problem.
At some point, we want to see him play exceptional because we paid for the car that drives exceptional.
Yeah.
So we wanted a Rolls Royce, and what we got right now is a
Yugo. You got a Yugo. They got a Yugo. It's not working out. How about the run game? We got to talk about that too. The tailgate continues after this.
That was pretty.
You're watching Serpentini Tailgate 19. The Big Run Report sponsored by Dunkin'.
Yes.
It's going to be game to game. You know, I know we have the weapons. We want to pass the ball, but I think as a line, we want to, establish the run and try and wear on some guys as well.
I feel like I'm a gear in a big system, and just making sure that I do my job, whether it's pass, whatever play is called in, I just make sure that my gear is turning, and if we all individually make sure the gears are turning, the machine will work.
The Big Run Report, sponsored by Dunkin'.
All right, let's talk the run game today. The Jaguars feature Travis Etienne, former first-round pick, elite speed at the running back position. They're mixing in Tank Bigsby. We talked about a Yugo. The Browns aren't running a Yugo. The Browns are running a Ford. We got a Ford against a tank and a sports car. How we feeling?
I think we're going to be okay. I mean, obviously, we've always been able to run the football, but always had Nick Chubb. So without Nick Chubb, this Ford kid has got to find a way to extend the run. Last week, I thought he could have broken a few tackles that he didn't, but he did well for us last year. Let's hope to get the running game together. It'll take pressure off Deshaun, and hopefully we can score points, because we still got to score points.
Right. I think, just like Reggie said, Ford, I think he'll be on his game. Mm-hmm. I think us as a defense, we have to shut down their run. That can open up the pass for Lawrence. We have to come out and set the tone. We have to kind of prove to everybody that week one for us was a blunder and go down there and shut down a good offense. And when you're looking at, you said it yourself, Travis Etienne, he's a decent running back, and he's on the top fantasy list for a lot of guys because of his ability to rack up points and yards. So we have to take care of their run game first, and that'll be the bell cow for them. If we don't do that, it'll be a long day for us.
One of my problems was I never felt like we were in rhythm. And I always say this, there's something about an offense that runs off the field to get set up for the huddle, to go on the first play of a drive, and then you pop out of the huddle, everybody looks sharp, everybody's aligned, the quarterback's in control, we move and we snap the play, we get back in the huddle. It looks like a machine working like that. It just seems so lethargic the way we ran offense last week. Dude, it's opening day. You're playing the Cowboys.
Absolutely.
It's prime time.
Let's go.
And this is it. This is it. Nobody's got anything extra.
It was a blunder, man. You're making me excited about this game today because I feel week one was a blunder. I feel that's not what we represent. That's not what they represent, and we'll see a difference.
We do this segment every week, Follow the Money, Cardinal Credit Union. Let's follow the money. We're going to go down to Cincinnati, where the Bengals and Jamar Chase have apparently broke off contract talks. According to ESPN, they say Chase will not sign an extension this year with Cincinnati. You guys have been through contract situations. What is that like? How contentious is it with the club? What's it like trying to go out and play and deal with these things?
I'm gonna let Josh go last because I played in the 80s, so there wasn't any negotiation. It was pretty much you'll take this and that's what you'll get. There was no free agency. We didn't have opportunities to search for other teams when I played. We went on strike in 1987, and then they got a little bit better with the Reggie White settlement. And then later in my career, maybe I had a chance to do a little bit of that. But Josh played through the true free agency where a guy can go for 4 years, $100 million, and $90 million guaranteed. I don't know anything about
You don't
that.
know.
Yeah.
Sergeant Schultz over here to my
first
right.
year was $73,000, so but I'm proud of it.
You know, I did go through a contract situation where, you know, the whole, if you can remember, the whole pay the man.
Yeah.
And I feel like I did outplay my contract, but it was really, you had to really, you know, move it inch by inch because of my relationship with our fan base. We have a blue-collar fan base. They don't care about your $1 million contract. They're not trying to hear that. They want you to play good on the field. And I received advice from guys like Jim Brown. He was at our practice all the time. He said, when you play good, the money comes. And he urged me, hey, get out there on the field. And I did that. Holmgren came in. He blessed me with a good contract. However, as it relates to Mark Chase and what's going on now, I think he's doing that to get maximum value. If he becomes available and there's a bidding war, Cincinnati Bengals will do what they can to keep him in that uniform. If it means him being the highest paid, he will become the highest paid.
But he's got 2 more years on his deal.
Yes.
But that's he's going to force them to have to come to the table or, you know, ask for a trade, just like Brandon Ayuk did. And I think that's where it's heading.
We got to go to break. I've always thought the NFL had the best system. Fans see the contract, they say, you signed it, live up to it. If the contract's not guaranteed, the club can cut them and walk away. So the club has their protection. The holdout gives the players some protection. I think it's the best system. You got the fewest opportunities of guys getting the short end of the stick or teams getting the short end of the stick. That's the Pier in Jacksonville. Browns and Jaguars at Everbank Stadium at 1. You'll see it here on 19. We're back after this on the Tailgate.
This has been Follow the Money, brought to you by Cardinal Credit Union.
How realistic do you envision retirement consideration being for him?
If I would answer that question, I'd be like, all right, this is my thoughts on his career. And he read it. If he agreed with it or he disagreed with it, either way, I've just made him worse. Those types of conversations when you're talking about somebody's career, I think it probably is only fair that their career should be decided by them.
Now, the Kia Quick Picks, brought to you by Kia.
All right, Tua Tua has been such a big topic since the concussion. I'm going to frame this discussion this way to you guys because you've played, you've had concussions, and now you're on the other end, you're older, wiser. What would you do if you were Tua, and what would you be doing and saying if you were Tua's family? Go.
If I was Tua and I had that $124 million already in the bank, I would probably retire. If I was his family, I would suggest that he would retire. If he was my son, I would ask him to retire. But as a player, until you're done with it, you're not done with it. So, and we're so immortal when we're in our 20s that I may continue to play, and that's just the way I would be.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Our family, I've been in this situation multiple times. I took a demonstrous hit against the Baltimore Ravens. I was out 2 commercial breaks. I was like him. You know, fans can still remember. You know, people think that I retired because I was getting concussions. No, I was retired because my legs ain't work like they used to.
Yeah.
However, I would still want to play. And I think Tua is going to still want to get out there, no matter how much the money. This sport brings us to a new beginning, a new becoming. We can only do it for so long. And while he has breath and air in his body, unless he chooses, and I think the coach was right on that, unless he chooses it's over, he should be out there with his team.
And as an athlete, this is one of those stories that we hope nothing goes real wrong. 5 years
he's had
from now,
a lot of concussions already.
10 years from now, something happens to him and he's all of a sudden in Alzheimer's or some other form of dementia, and he's in his 30 years old, 30 years. But on the same hand, it's the same feeling I kind of have for Nick Chubb. I want to see Nick Chubb play. I want the best for him. And at the same time, I'm nervous that he's going to play again. And that's just the way it is. As athletes, we want guys to go for as long as they run because it's only 10, 12 years of our life, if we're lucky, and we know what it takes to play and what the energy they put in the offseason to do this. So, yeah, we hope for them the best. We don't want anything to go wrong, but the reality
we care
of it
about
is,
them.
10, 12 years, unless you're Brady, then you get 20. Should they call Tom Brady? The Dolphins.
That's going to be an interesting pick, interesting take. This came up already. Of course, why not? But it's going to take a while for him to get to playing shape and form.
You got Russell Wilson, and from my understanding, if Fields does well today, maybe they call Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh and see if they can work something out there. That's not a bad choice.
Yeah, Brady would need a month anyway to get back in playing. Oh yeah, I mean I don't think he's been playing. Look, I've made the Pro Bowl, and I hopped out there for the Pro Bowl without practicing after the season, and been so gassed and so out of it, like, oh Lord Jesus, take me out the game, because we need that much time to get back into.
Jesus.
Yeah, we need to get back in shape all over again.
In prayer, trying to get through a Pro Bowl.
And to his point, that's the same thing that happens in the preseason. You don't play. Opening day, you're tired.
That's where they'll be playing in about an hour and 20 minutes. Stick around. We're back after this on the tailgate.
Sweet jeez.
You're watching Serpentini Tailgate 19.
I don't know what the locker room thinks, right? Like, you see this guy making all this money and he can't deliver anything. Like, there's going to lose the locker room at some point. And I think, to me, all the Browns' Super Bowl hopes are going to be vanished because, look, Joe Flacco was a better quarterback than he was last year. That's not even debatable. Here's what's going to happen. The longer Stefanski puts him out there and he doesn't deliver, he's going to lose his team because the team's going to be divided. And when you lose your team, it doesn't matter what the cap number is. You got to make the move.
Michael Lombardi, clearly no fan of what's going on. How much of a risk is that right now with this team?
It's week 1. I'm sorry. I mean, okay, today was week 2. This can all change today if he goes out there and just plays well and plays like just a resemblance of what he did last year, the second half of the Baltimore game. If a resemblance of what he did in Tennessee when he played against Tennessee. He's 5-1 as a starter, by the way, 5-2 now. But as we look at him as a whole, the team it was a team loss. They don't look at Deshaun, unfortunately, like the fans do. And we got to understand there's a difference. We don't see him. We see him as one way. His teammates see him as another.
I agree and I don't agree. And I say that because I've played with quarterbacks that at some point I'd had enough of them, and then me and the other receivers would look at each other because they know he wasn't up to par, and we didn't like it. And that's just the reality of it. Yeah, he's my friend, but he ain't playing well enough to be leading us to victories, and that's a problem.
After week 1?
No. It's not after week 1. It's after everything that's been transpiring since he's been here.
Right. We're at
if you look at Amari Cooper's body language, it says a lot, and that's because that's a guy who's expected to perform at a certain level, but he needs to rock to do it. If you got a guy, because of lying, because of not being able to run, is affecting his money and his play, then there's a problem, especially when he's missing opportunities to throw the ball where it's supposed to be.
Only if the tape says that.
Correct. And that's what I was going to say, because what happens is we watch it on TV, and you really only see what's going on in 7-on-7. Yep. But on the wide angle, when we look at it, and my quarterback sees that I'm in the first progression, and he throws it to the second progression, and it gets tipped, there's a problem. So I'm here to play ball. The ball should be coming to me. Dude, what's your deal?
Exactly.
Because at some point, and we're going to get in that meeting, there's going to be a problem. I'm going to start looking at him like, hey, tighten up.
Exactly. And when it doesn't happen that way, when he still has his locker room, we got to understand as a fan base and as football fans that the way we see it ain't what's happening. Those receivers are probably covered. He probably had the right read, and it wasn't nothing there. And we have to understand that if he still has a locker room, then what Reggie just outlined is not taking place. Sure. Right. That he's trying to get to the guy, and the guy needed to get more separation. That we need to look at somebody else, maybe coaching, maybe receiving, maybe route running, or maybe the defense was just that good. You know, Cowboys weren't just a slum type of defense. They came ready to play. So some credit has to be given to those guys.
And it may not be an issue now, but the clock is ticking.
We're at year 3.
It is. It's been ticking. It's been ticking. It's been ticking.
By the way, the inactives are out. Let's take a look. These dropped a few minutes ago. And Jack Conklin is on the list for the Browns.
Wait a minute. Isn't this the same guy that played a quarter last year, get a new contract, he still ain't playing?
He's inactive today, Reggie.
You got to be kidding.
Conklin is
What is that, 40, 50 million, Josh? We could split that down the middle.
Wills is
we still are high. We still have a lot of cap. Like, the Browns could go out there and make some moves. Like, there should be some trades. I mean, and they may be. But we have the opportunity to get some trades in there. And we don't have to necessarily put up too much. You know, it doesn't have to be guys that we trade. And, you know, I'm not big on draft. So
they got the pick. They're first now. They can, you know.
Exactly. We have the cap space. So I'm just saying, man, we can ship some guys. I don't know, man. We can ship some guys.
Is there a name, somebody you're trying to get out of town here? I mean, we got a minute here, John.
I'm just saying, you know, when we pay guys, and I'm not talking about Deshaun. I'm talking about on that offensive line. And if there's an opportunity to get a guy that's better or to improve, we should probably do that. And I'm not saying that they're not already doing it.
I just want somebody to complain. Somebody that's going to actually have a uniform on and participate on
ability is availability.
How about that?
I don't want to put the horse before the cart. Is that how they say it?
I think so.
It's week 1.
Put the cart before the
horse.
Because the cart can't pull the horse. You need the horse.
There you go. Week one.
All right, we are.
That's like the chicken and the egg, ain't
Yeah,
it?
there you go. Yep.
We are getting closer to kickoff. 1 hour, 11 minutes away. They'll put the foot to it there at Everbank Stadium, Trevor Bank today. Serpentini Chevy Tailgate continues here on 19. Help in the heat, not worry.
Trevor, testing. 1, 2, 3. How you doing? Ready to go? Hey, let's have a great day. Great day. Okay, there they are. That's what happens in battle too. It's like, where are they? There they are. Got it. Great job, man. Nice job. Great job. Plenty of time. Plenty of time. Look, you got play with confidence, right?
Oh, I got you.
I'm saying play with confidence.
Yeah.
We got plenty of time. This is a run.
Yeah.
This is a run for us, okay? Yeah, we're all over it. Let's go. Come on.
Let's go win it.
Yep, go win it.
Doug Peterson on the sidelines of Jacksonville. That's the stadium. A little cloudy down there, but it's 84, and it sounds like only about a 20-30% chance of rain. So they'll play in heat. We'll talk about that in a minute. And hopefully they at least stay dry. All right, so the Guardian caps, those have been talked about a little bit here lately. We've seen them in training camp over the last couple of years. They're the extra padded hat to prevent concussion. Now you can wear them during the game. This was put out on social media today. JOK, is he going to wear it? I don't know. I don't know. This goes back. We talked about Tua and the stuff like. Would you guys wear these? Josh, I know you don't like him, right? But
I don't think Reggie would have wore it either. You know, I wouldn't have wore it just because we like to look good as well as just play good. It's not just about safety. You know, we had the gear on, the necessary gear that was required, and we just too. I'm not gonna speak for Reggie, but I was old school. You know, with the mindset. Yeah. If I knew what I knew now, maybe I would have just stepped out of bounds more, as opposed to I welcome the hit. I love the game of football. It just when I came up, concussions wasn't a big thing. Breaking a leg was, or getting a crack back, something like that. We never factored concussions into the game of football like it is now.
Now, I wore a size 8, so if you put that thing on top of on top of my size 8, it'll look like I'm wearing a 14. I mean,
Space
you
Balls.
wearing that Space Cadet?
Spaceballs.
Right.
You remember Spaceballs? The movie
Yes.
Spaceballs?
Oh, yeah.
That thing might be health-wise good, but it ain't sexy good. I can tell you that. I wouldn't wear that thing.
All right, so Jacksonville at home today, yet they are wearing white. And Browns used to wear a lot of white. So this is sometimes a topic of conversation. When it's really hot, is it better to wear a white jersey versus a dark jersey because of what the sunlight can do to, like, dark colors, black? Does this matter, or is this just something we just talk about? It sounds smart.
So I'm from Virginia, so I always trained in Virginia, and I ran in the middle of the day just because I wanted to be prepared when I got here for training camp. And the only time I'm concerned whether or not I wear light clothes or dark clothes is at a barbecue. And I like to wear something dark so I don't get barbecue sauce on my shirt. But a fine-tuned athlete, who cares whether they got on white or dark? The fact is, I'm in shape. I could run all day.
Right.
I could care less.
Right.
It's never been an issue for me.
Right, and I know a lot of times I'm a sickle cell trait. So a lot of guys have to prepare, like Reggie said, in those conditions. I don't think it matters, but it does as far as like your body temperature. Light reflects. Light clothing reflects the sun. Dark clothing absorbs it. Again, you'll become more hot. We should be prepared for that. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't be a factor in the game.
I've never worn white to a barbecue.
Reggie is concerned more about the barbecue sauce than he is the heat. That is a veteran move, gentlemen. You should all know that by now.
But teams do that, even in stadiums. You saw how what's the stadium that they have the sunlight? It be shade on one side, and the visitor side, the sun is out to make them more hot, to raise their temperature.
Just cook them.
And, and just
want to cook them.
And that's why they wearing white at home, because to them it matters.
We got about a minute left here. So Trevor Lawrence was the #1 overall pick in his draft. He was the most hyped prospect since probably Peyton Manning. He's certainly not a bust, but he's not a top 5 quarterback. How good is this guy?
I think he's hanging in. I think, like you heard Doug Peterson just say, is some issues, some confidence issues. Anytime you got to tell your quarterback to be confident in the NFL, he's not confident. Maybe he's not playing like they think he should, but he's still in the middle of the pack. He's definitely, like you said, not a bust. Maybe they need more and better pieces around him, coaching, line, a better defense. With the right tools, he will succeed.
Now, they've gone out of their way to get additional running backs, and they've paid money to get some nice receivers. So he's got all the tools at his disposal. He just has not peaked. He's had a game where he's played great, then 2 or 3 games where he's played average. I expected more from him coming out of college, but we still just haven't seen him.
He may,
This, like you said, he may have plateaued. And just be a good quarterback for 15 years.
Right. It doesn't always translate from college to NFL.
Yep.
Maybe a different system, too. He may flourish in a different team.
Sometimes that first pick means he's assured to be good. High floor, but not necessarily high ceiling. And he'll play in the league a long time. We know that. All right.
I like the guy from the 6th round pick from the team up there. That's a whole nother.
I mean, sometimes you bump into it, Tom Brady.
Get him, dog.
That's the Browns joined. It'll be quiet tonight because they're playing in Jacksonville at 1. You'll see it here on 19. We'll send it to the network. Next.
Get your barbecue ready.
You're watching Serpentini Tailgate 19. You're watching Serpentini Tailgate 19.